Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever time of day you're watching this. We had the farrier out yesterday. It was a bit windy. It's the first time I've ever videoed on a GoPro. This is on my iPhone. So I do apologise for some of the sound quality. It's not brilliant. But enjoy, because I've asked Ben a few questions. He's very, very knowledgeable, as you'd expect from someone that's a tradesman and knows what they're doing. And I found it really interesting myself. So if you've got any questions, pop them in the comments below. I'll do another one in the summer when we're outside, perhaps a bit less wind. So once again, thank you for watching. If you like what we're doing, please like and subscribe. It'll help us tremendously. And yeah, enjoy. So this is little Molly. She's retired. She's, I don't know, how big are you? 12, 2? Would you say she's about 12, 2? I don't know this stuff. I've never ridden her. She's a bit too small for me. So she doesn't have shoes. She just has bare feet. So she's going to have a trim today. So we'll Benjamin do a trimming. Benjamin.
I think my mum calls me Benjamin when I've been naughty.
You did it last time, wasn't it?
I'll have a little look and see.
Just been on the concrete for a long time.
So you chat through what you're doing?
Okay, yeah, so for a start I'm just cleaning out the feet, because Neil hasn't done that this morning. Taking away all the excess mud and things which have got trapped up within the foot. Down the side of the frog, which is this central part of the foot here.
Wait, ready? Come on,
Ready, out you go, sorry. And then I will just trim off the excess sole. She hasn't got a lot of sole to come away, especially this time of year where the ground's been so wet. I want to try and retain as much of that in there as I can, so it's a natural protection for them. So she's got quite a nice calcification on the bottom of the sole there. The frog's a little bit ragged, so I'm going to just trim the ends off that slightly and just take that back to a nice frog. And then the hoof wall, she's got a little bit of excess growth, so again I don't want to trim it back excessively where she's then going to become footsore. So I'll just take a nice little nip around, and then we'll finish it all off with the rasp and make it nice and tidy.
Excellent. And you do this all in one go on one foot?
Yep.
She's barefoot. Yeah.
I do, yeah. So take my loop knife.
Oh, what, a loop knife?
Loop knife. As you can see, it's a loop.
Oh, it's got a loop.
So both sides are sharp, so I can do left and right hand side of the frog.
How much would one of those knives be?
A decent one like this would be about £160. I've had this one years. You can see it's worn.
See, I'll get mine out spending money on tools. I don't have a knife yet that costs £160.
This is one of many. This one was £220.
I believe the dog's surprised.
So I've trimmed the frog. I don't want to take too much more on that, because the frog does have an important role in the hoof. So it helps with the blood supply, concussion, grip, and things like that. So she's got a nice healthy frog. I don't want anything which is overgrown too much and it's failing, or at the same point we don't want the frog to be in atrophy where there's not a lot there and it's not got any factors and
You
properties.
see, actually, it's quite a bit of a lip there, isn't it? On the side of that hoof.
So that's her growth.
Yeah.
So
this is 6 weeks growth or so, isn't
This
it?
is 6 weeks, yeah. Yeah, this is 6 weeks. So we have to bear in mind that Molly has a history of EMS, which is equine metabolic syndrome, which is a form of laminitis. So again, we don't want to be taking too much off and making her sore with that as well.
She's a little bit sore a few days after.
Absolutely. So
particularly this time of year, because their hooves are softer in the winter, aren't they?
that's it, yep, exactly that. So where this sole's now nice and hard, if I was to trim all this out, then she would 100% go sore. And with this excess growth on here as well, that gives her clearance from the floor. So it's effectively simulating a shoe. It gives you that depth of foot to keep it off the ground and away from any debris, stones or flints or anything like that. So yeah.
So horses in the wild, they would naturally wear it down.
Yeah, that's correct. Yeah,
gravel and rocks and stuff.
that is correct. Yeah.
Because I've been down, done a few projects down West Country, and stopped on Dartmoor to have a little look at the ponies.
That's it.
Really friendly. I want to say friendly, they come up for kisses and cuddles. They're also used to getting fed by the tourists.
Yeah, absolutely.
I've got a dog sat on my knee now.
That's my dog.
Let's get on with the action. Say hello. Okay, so what are these fellas called?
These are called my nippers or cutters.
Yeah.
So I'm effectively just going around taking off excess growth.
Fantastic. How much are they? I'm being nosy.
These are nearly over £300 now, including the VAT.
I suppose they're not going to be making. There's a lot of farriers in the world, but
Yeah,
good
absolutely.
quality tools last a long time.
They
so
do.
You're
I've
not
had
going to be
these.
selling those every week.
No,
so that's
no.
why they're expensive.
I've had these probably
Brody, come on,
8 years now, I think, these
Right,
ones.
okay.
So they're getting to a point where I need to probably give them a resharp.
What's that, annual? Biannual?
Yeah, no, probably annually. Give them a little tick up. So I've taken the excess growth off, left a little bit of heel depth there. Obviously I need to just smooth all the edges in now, take away any steps what I've got from the cutters, and smooth it all off and round it all off. So I take my file, this is a wide one, 12 inches, it's a man's 12 inches.
Okay, so it's tiny then.
I just work my way around the foot at a 45-degree angle, just beveling them edges in, because I don't want to take the foot down any further than what I've cut it already.
Okay, so you're only taking off the excess or the last little bit of the fresh growth.
That's it, yeah. I'm taking it off at an angle, so this will effectively just stops the foot splitting,
Yeah.
and things like that, so there's not too much to come off it. And I just check the balance, make sure it's the same medial side and lateral side, so inside, always the inside of the foot is the medial side and the outside is the lateral side.
Okay.
So we want the heels to be the same height and the balance.
I'll
through
just say
the
to the
foot.
camera, I've known Ben about 7 years. I've never actually had a discussion with him about hooves. So I'm learning loads.
Yeah, absolutely. So what we want is a nice symmetrical wall depth all the way around, nice strong bars, which are these things here. So effectively it's a continuation of the hoof wall round.
Yeah,
and
and
it's,
that's protecting the frog slightly there, is it, those bars?
no, not necessarily. It's the scaffolding of the back part of the foot.
Right, okay.
So if these bars are folding over and
Yeah.
laying flat, then effectively the foot will fail. So it's the buttress of the foot what holds everything up. If you look at it from the side, you can see it's the horn tubules all coming nice and strong
Yeah.
in a straight line, following the angle of her pastern. And when the back part of the foot fails, everything collapses and rolls underneath it.
Okay.
So I'm just going to take this foot forward now and just smooth the edges off. I don't want to weaken the foot by dressing the dorsal wall back any further. So the wall is this part here, sorry.
Which is the dorsal?
Yeah, that is what it's called, the
that's
dorsal
what-
wall. Yeah, correct terminology is the dorsal wall.
I thought correct terminology was a hoof.
That's layman terms. So obviously got a bit of mud on there, left on there from yesterday. So this is the dorsal wall, which is the outside part of the foot, which is non-vascular and insensitive. So everything I've taken off is excess growth. It's got no sensitivity in it at all.
It's the human equivalent of cutting your toenails.
Absolutely right. Just run that in. You can feel that now, it's nice and smooth and rounded. There's no sharp edges on that side at all. So you shouldn't break and chip away at all. I just need to do the inside now.
So our horses are generally pretty good for you. You got any difficult ones that sedated or just a pain? Would you steer clear of those?
I have actually just recently given up my worst one on the hooks. She's unfortunately moved yards to a different yard, which is a little bit too far out of my area, so I politely declined to shoot anymore.
Yeah, okay.
But that used to have to be vet sedated every time I shot it.
Well, these are dangerous things anyway, so you've got to put your health and you're that first.
Molly, with the way she is, could do a lot of damage.
But she's 350 kilos or something like that,
Yeah.
which for a tiny little pony.
Yeah.
We'll be doing Bear in a minute. He's our tallest horse at 16.3. And maybe in the summer, because the reason why we're in a stable today is because it's tipping down outside. In the summer, we'll show you Gracie, who's probably our heaviest horse. She's only 15.1, but she's a big, thick-set cob. We have 4 overall. So, rinse and repeat then. Any difference to the back foot?
Only in shape. So a back foot is slightly tighter and narrower, and almost has a diamond shape to it. So where the front foot's a lot more round and broad, that is effectively dictated by the shape of the pedal bone. So the bone inside the foot dictates the shape and dimensions of the foot externally.
Okay.
And Molly's a little bit sore behind, so this is not hurting her at all. She's just a little reluctant to have this done. She's got a sore back end.
How long does it take to train to become a farrier?
I believe now it's just over 5 years.
Whoa, that's quite a time. You'd be a carpenter in like 3. Ben's a
bit of wood doesn't move though.
Yeah, it's true.
Or have live structures in.
And I'm right in thinking you've got a diploma in the Worshipful Company of Farriers?
That's right, yeah.
Yeah. That's DIP WCF.
That's correct, yeah.
Okay, and you're currently doing a degree in...
Yeah, in farrier as well.
Farrier as well.
So that's a two-year degrees I'm doing.
Okay.
In higher education, and then Bachelor's of Science degree.
And that's to be more advisory than doing?
Yeah, so I'm thinking longer term.
Yeah.
To enable me to then be able to teach, lecture,
conduct that way. So I'm not in the safest of places here, right behind a horse.
Teach, lecture, do seminars, and
Brody, out the way.
And maybe later on in life, if I wish to do it, and my doctorate as well.
Oh, give you a PhD, wouldn't it?
Yeah, absolutely.
Dog, out the way, come on.
It's after the trimmings.
Yeah. There you go.
Let's give pet frog. So exactly the same principle as the front feet. I don't tend to need to take the back feet forward just because they're shaped by definition.
Yep.
It means that everything's fine. So exactly the same. I've just trimmed the frog up, left the sole in, the bars are nice and strong, so I'm going to leave them in situ. She's a little bit higher on the outside than the inside, so I've left that as is, and just smoothed it all off.
Okay, fantastic. We'll leave Molly at there. Well, I'll leave the filming at there. We'll get Bear out in a minute and just show you the slight difference with Bear because he's got shoes, so we've got to take shoes off, and then we'll show you some videos around by the forge as well. And he uses his whacker thing to an anvil to knock them back into shape. Okay, this one is Bear Fox Ben. We call him Bear, but Ben the farrier's known him for years as Ben. He's an ex-racer, absolute dimwit. Gets a bit excited about the most silliest of things, but other than that he's alright. I'll ride him from time to time, but he's got shoes on the front, and the reason I was saying about this earlier is if you look at the he's turned his head away. Look at the distribution of weight. You've got the head, the neck, the shoulder, and half the back end. It all come down through the front. So some horses are only shot on the front. Am I about to be told that's completely wrong?
No.
Okay, I'm right.
Just about the gist of it, yeah. So with him, he's got longer pasterns as well. Between the fetlock to the top of the hoof. So this is the pastern here, which is the middle phalanx. And that goes into the foot, obviously. Distal phalanx, middle phalanx, proximal phalanx. So you've got two bones here. The joint is here for the pastern joint. This is the fetlock. And this angle here should be relative to the angle of the hoof as well. But where this is longer, it's longer levers. So he doesn't grow a lot of foot at all, unfortunately. And he's got really flat feet. So there's not going to be a lot of soles come off him at all.
Okay.
So we shoot him slightly differently to give him the support he needs at the back to support the limb and the hoof and obviously the horse above, rather than just shooting the foot. We have to think about everything. So yeah, he's got trickier feet than Molly. So and he doesn't cope very well when he hasn't got a shoe on. So he copes very well with no backs on. We used to have a full set on him and then we took them off. Copes very well without high shoes on because it's effectively 20% less body weight over the back end than what the front end has to cope with. So the hind limbs are effectively propulsion and the front limbs are weight carrying.
Yeah, and brakes.
And brakes. Or in Neil's case, no brakes. So we'll just go through the process of what we do to take your shoe off. Come on, Brody, out you go. Come on.
I have been known to exit a horse rather quickly from time to time.
Frequently, you mean?
Frequently exit a horse quite quickly from time to time, yeah.
So, obviously, same principle, we just take the foot and just take out any mud and everything first, just in case there's any stones or anything in the foot. When we take the shoe off, we don't want them to be pushing them further into the foot. So this is a buffer.
Got a little toolbox there, look.
Yep. Buffer and a nylon hammer. So all I do effectively is get onto the old clenches and lift them up. So these are the old nails which I've had in. Effectively I'm untying these shoelaces. So we go round, raise all 6 nails.
Always 6 nails?
No, not necessarily. Grace I've only got 4 in. It depends on the foot. There, where I shoe them quite long, has a tendency to ping a couple of shoes off, so I put a couple more nails in just to help stabilise them.
Oh, I found his shoe the other day when I raked the backfield.
Oh, there you go.
And he lost about 6 weeks ago, 7 weeks ago, something like that.
So I go round and I take 1 nail at a time, so I'm not putting any stress on the hoof wall. I'll start at the heels and I just gently raise that, and that breaks the contact between foot and shoe. And then I go round, and once these nails are loosened, I just take them off 1 at a time. That way it doesn't put any stress on the foot at all. That's the shoe off now. So
is that going back on as a refit? Or
yeah, no, there's plenty of meat left in there. So you can see on the back underside of the foot, underside of the shoe, sorry, where the foot sits, which is this line here, where it's been naturally expanding and contracting on the foot. It just rubs that surface
What's
away.
That thing there for? You got one on each side?
Yeah, these are clips. Traditionally, a lot of horses are shod with toe clips, which is one at the front, like Molly. But when you've got a flatter foot like this, with not a lot of strength in, I'd like to just give a little bit of stability to the shoe to stop the foot and the shoe from moving in different directions. So it just helps stabilise the shoe onto the foot. So that's all I do with those. So again, where he's not got a lot on here, I'll give him a wire brush out.
So I asked you a minute ago, off camera, you were starting out today as a farrier. What do you reckon it will cost you? Say 20 grand for the van, what would it cost you to get set up? It's because all your tools seem really expensive.
Yeah, they are. So my fire would be £700-800. Anvil, the same. Then you've got all your auxiliary stuff as well, so hammers, tongs, pritchels. You'd easily spend £8,000, I suppose, on tools and toolboxes and
just odds and sods. So you're probably looking at a thick end of 30 grand if you had a 20 grand allowance for a van.
Yeah, absolutely. So you can see Bear hasn't got the best quality feet. He has grown a little bit of toe, but I'm not actually going to take that off from the bottom.
Why has he not got best quality feet? Because he's a thoroughbred.
Yeah, absolutely. So they are known to not have great feet, to be fair.
So on Molly, I just point that out there. On Molly, he had these bars coming down here, but these don't look so.
No, they're not so pronounced at all. So we do have some heel strength, where a lot of thoroughbreds, these heels run and crush forward, and you can almost see them up to this point. So we've done well to get some degree of depth of foot into the heels. These bars are always really weak.
And bearing in mind all 4 of ours are done at the same time.
Yep.
Molly had maybe 5 to 10 millimetres of growth around the edge, and he's got virtually none.
Yeah, absolutely. See, the frog's quite small and tight. There's not a lot of horny frog on there, should I say, sorry.
Yeah.
So this is a frog, what I would call, that is in atrophy. So there's not a lot to come off the bottom of this. Okay. So I'll assess foot balance. So it's a little bit high through here. So we'll just trim that down slightly. Another little look. Okay. And then what I do with his feet is, rather than taking this down this way, I take the foot backwards. So I'm backing the foot up. Keeping the strength around the foot, so we're in a much better shape Now by backing that toe out, it was to this point here, long toe, and just backing it up into a more circumferential shape, more balanced shape.
Are all thoroughbreds like this?
Most, as a rule.
Yeah.
Most, as a rule. You do get some which have got nice feet, but as a rule, they are by design long in the pastern, thinner hoof wall, and that's a lot to do with breeding for racing. You know, with the known, scientifically proven to be known that horses with longer sloping pasterns are faster than the ones with shorter upright pasterns. Then that leverage you get from a longer pastern propels them forward a lot more.
He was really slow though. I think he
So it comes down to natural ability, not just genetics.
I think he has raced twice and he come 10th out of 12 on one and last I think out of 10 on the other one. So poor boy wasn't so good.
Smoothing again. I'm just going to take a little bit off. Not a lot, just a little bit. I just want them nice and straight.
Okay, so it is furnace thing now.
It's called. It's a forge. It's a portable forge. Yeah, no, it's not
forge. Okay.
So this is run on propane gas, which I've got a bottle around the other side of the van. Fed through on obviously the hose what it's sold with. Effectively open it up. This is quite old now, this one, so the tiles and everything in there.
What's that white stuff? Asbestos?
Yeah, no. Thankfully not, no.
Probably was once upon a time.
It probably was once upon a time. So this is all heat retentive material, so the tiles and everything in here hold the heat, so it contains the warmth and the fire, so it then gets hotter quicker.
Because we'll show it's coming out in a minute and it'll be red.
Absolutely. So all I do, my ignition's gone on it, so I have to use a trusty lighter. I'll turn the gas on. It's now going. So I place the shoe right underneath the flame to maximise the flame and the heat. Bring it on and close the door.
How long does that take?
I've got it turned up a little bit, so by the time we've trimmed the bear's back feet, he'll then have enough heat in this to do what we need to do. Whereas a refit, I don't need to get it as hot as I would do if I was putting a new shoe on.
Heating up nicely.
That's perfect temperature for what I need. I'll turn the gas off, use my trusty tongs. I don't want to be picking up with my fingers. Make sure that's alright. Sorry, no. So it's nice and orange and cherry red all the way down, so brush any excess rubbish off the bottom. Make sure it's level.
What do some people tap first?
Oh, it's just habit, momentum for the hammer. Yeah, just keeps the hammer moving between blows, so you're not stopping, starting.
Yeah.
It's not easier to move a balanced moving hammer than it is to bring it down. So I've got it on my Pritchell now.
We've got Pritchell, another 80 quid.
No, they're only about 30 quid roughly. So you can see the foot is nice shape now.
Smelly vision, fortunately.
No. So I don't want to put too much heat through this foot because it's obviously thin soled.
I'm not used to this.
Neil's a pen pusher.
He is.
So I've got a nice burn on there. Don't want to be burning on too much around that toe. It's obviously thin and sensitive there. So that's as much as I'd like to burn on to. You can see the size of the foot and the size of the shoe and where that comes back to. I'm supporting the whole limb rather than just shoeing the foot, because you'd need a much smaller shoe on if I was shoeing just the foot rather than the horse above. Now this bit is probably going to be the most scary bit for a lot of people. It has to be known that this actually doesn't hurt them at all when we nail the shoe on.
Well, I think knowing this horse in particular and all horses, if this was going to hurt them, I certainly wouldn't be stood here. I was still stood here and it hurt, though I'd be put through the wall behind me.
Yeah, absolutely. So you can see where we've trimmed everything, the hoof wall, we've still got probably 6-7 millimetres of foot being the hoof wall thickness.
This hoof is really quite round, isn't it?
To nailing, yeah. So the poodle bone would sit probably around here, extend back slightly to here, and this back part of the foot is all digital cushion and things like that, so that's all soft out the back part of the foot here, which is why if you don't distribute weight and have your feet trimmed correctly and the shoe shod correctly, this back part of the foot is so malleable it will fail. So it's important to support. So I've selected the size of nail I want. These are copper coated E4 Slims.
Copper coated?
Yes.
Not copper,
no, it'd be too soft if it was copper.
Soft, yeah. Why are they copper on the outside?
It has antibacterial properties, so what they say is that the copper itself stops the horn from discolouring around the nail in the foot.
That makes sense. Because if you use certain kind of fixings in oak, you'll get black staining around the nails.
Yeah, exactly right. So it's nice, firm, solid sound to that, so I know that's a good nail. And it's chamfered on one side. So it has a straight side, which is the back part of the nail. So you can see it's dead straight. And then on the inside of the nail, we have a slight taper at the end of the distal tip of the nail. So that, effectively, you put that into the inside of the foot, and when you drive that in, it then pushes its way out.
Okay, makes sense.
So,
I forgot what the inside and the outside were called. You told me a minute ago.
what the inside and the outside of the foot. So this is the medial side,
Mm-hmm.
this is the lateral side. So it's all through solid hoof, not into the sensitive structures at all.
How far from the outside to the inside is solid? What you got to play with there? Half inch, 3/4 of an inch?
Oh god, nowhere near that. We're talking 6-7 millimeters.
Right, okay.
So there's not a lot of room for error to be.
So you've got to get the nail the right way around then. So
Yeah,
you're getting
absolutely.
further away from that with each strike.
Yep.
Do you know, like people like to moan, and they moan about plumbers being too expensive,
Yep.
and electricians, and no different with farriers. And my farriers are really expensive, but you've got 5 years of learning. I know you're choosing to do a degree, so you can't kind of count that in. That's because most farriers won't. But you've got loads of really expensive equipment.
Yeah.
It's all got to be paid for. You don't just turn up and do half hour's work for
No,
what do
no,
you charge for,
absolutely.
500 quid an hour, isn't it? Something like that?
I wish it was. You know, Bear, he's going to refit in front, has had a little trim behind.
Yeah.
So he's £55 for this.
You don't need to say that.
But you know, we legally have to do CPD as well now. So
Yeah, we're the same. We have to do
Yeah.
so many hours of it a year. Ours is split formal and informal.
oh, okay.
So formal is when you've attended a training event
Yeah.
or a seminar, or you're doing a presentation for someone else. And informal is reading.
Yeah.
We're supposed to do, as chartered surveyors, we're supposed to do 20 hours a year, and then we'll do between about 40 and 50. Just because I still really enjoy what I do.
Yeah, absolutely right.
I found a felting nail. Would that be any good?
No, that would not be very good at all.
Okay.
Yeah, that would not be good.
So you just got to do the front, or did you do that after?
I'm going to clip it now.
Okay.
We need to clench up so you can see where I've nailed through the hoof wall. Good boy there. So we've got the nail sticking out here with the edges which I've wrung off. So
And actually you can see the nails from last time, and the
Yeah.
nail holes from the time before, and the time before. So,
yeah, absolutely.
so that overall inch is the last 18 weeks of growth.
Yep.
So very, very slow.
Absolutely. Just bend the nail over slightly. Then we rasp them to the right length. This is called a clench groover. What this effectively does, it cuts a little pocket of foot out. So it's a tiny little bit of foot, which will cut out from underneath each nail. And then what that enables me to do is then to bend these nails over, and they lay flush into that groove already. So we've got full thickness of nail and strength of clench there. All we do now is just smooth things off. This is called clenching up, this process. So effectively we're doing his shoelaces back up now. So when I took his shoes off, we were getting underneath these and raising them and turning them back over, so then a straight nail to pull out, rather than having these hooks through the wall and you're dragging that hook through the wall and ripping the foot up.
Okay, good stuff. So that's all videoed in real time, possibly slightly slower real time because Ben's been explaining as we go along, and obviously wouldn't do that every time, but it's still good to see. And obviously I've been around horses I've had these 10 years and learned quite a bit today just by videoing it, slowing down and seeing what needs to be done.